Welcome to Scotland Island. This is a absolutely beautiful part of Sydney, guys, and I'm on the Barbaros 33 Lobster Boat. They also do a 30 and they even go up to a 43. These guys are based in Turkey. Turkey is a manufacturing powerhouse. I've been there once and I'm going to go there again later this year because a lot of really cool boats are coming out of Turkey. It's a place, a part of the world for us boaters. We need to pay more attention to them because they're doing some good stuff. .33 Lobster. She goes down to 30, up to 43. I would put this in the very safe category. So, fiberglass hull, single shaft Yanmar 340 diesel, bow and stern thrusters. This is the walkthrough video. My name's Dan Jones, you're watching Dan's Boat Life, and if you want to see how she behaves out on the water, that is a test drive. It's a separate video. I'll link to that at the very end of this display. So we'll just cover some of the top sides here, and I will talk about, as I make my way through this walkthrough, why I believe this is practical for some of you and maybe not so for others, because I know a lot of you only have experience with outboard engines. So that's where I'm going with that. A shaft drive does behave very differently. If you've come out of a sailing yacht or a traditional powerboat, this is going to make so much sense to you. If you're coming out of a modern outboard or multi-engine outboard, it will feel a little bit different. So we'll talk about that as we make our way through. This is all very beautiful and traditional. I just want to come up and have a look at the roof. Real thick. Lots of insulation, I noticed. It's a bit of a hot day today, so we weren't getting too much heat penetrating through there. We've got the horns, VHF, you've got your mast just there. We can mount a radar. We've also got the navigation lights and the remote spotlight just here. You've got your windscreen wipers. Driving for a couple of hours as we have today, including going out in the ocean, we did not get any spray onto the glass. No wind, I'll give you that, but we did go through waves at up to 15 knots. They were short and sharp at times. No water on the decks. It was all sent out to the sides and down the side, so we didn't get wet at all. That's forward-facing hatch, getting you some ventilation down into the accommodation. Decent size railings, so you can grab onto them with someone of my stature, not a problem. And if you're picking up a mooring or working the anchor, you can get down and brace yourself quite nicely. The 6.5 ton displacement of this boat does give her a sense of a low center of gravity, so she kind of sits quite predictably as you're walking around the decks. We'll check that out in a second. But look at all this beautiful stainless. So it's nice how they've wrapped that. I also appreciate what they've done externally because the bow has been wrapped in stainless and it's got a little bit of a stylistic point to it, which is quite nice. Beautiful stainless anchor, and then this chain locker is ginormous. Let's just get the camera all the way down there, Shane, have a look. You could put all the boat's fenders in there if you wish. You probably just want to mount a little handle there of some sort to tie the fender line, and that is perfect for fender storage just there. Up, down for the anchor, freshwater anchor wash, and stainless fair leads going to the cleats just here. And we also have stainless on this rub rail here, which is timber, beautifully varnished, and that is going to require a little bit of upkeep. So just expect that's your winter job, basically. There's more timber when we get into the back of the boat, but that can be protected with a cover quite easily. I suspect you're going to be, I would be, too lazy to cover this up. I would actually just want to tickle that up once a year in June when you're not using the boat too much. So, handles just here. We've got windows on both sides giving us cross-flow ventilation down into the cabin, and then we make our way back. The boat, again, if you move your weight around, she just doesn't want to rock like some boats of this size. She does sit quite predictably. So if you're a little bit older or not steady on your feet, I would put this in the very safe category for you to move around the boat. I don't see too many issues. We can grab onto this just here, and then we have another grab handle right here, and it's actually directly below where this handle ends, and then you just step over one step here and you're on some steps. So again, I see no safety issues whatsoever of sending perhaps older or less mobile people forward. It's going to be fine. So come out the back and we'll just touch on the swim platform. It's just good looking, this thing. She's just really handsome from every angle. The stern tucks in a little bit as you'd expect a traditional boat, and we have this teak swim platform out the back here. It can be done in GRP as well, but this one has been fitted up in the teak. And then we've got stainless as you enter just here, and you can see they've also carried this timber all the way around to the back of the boat, which is a nice touch. It's quite handsome. And then as we go forward, we've got the teak into the cockpit itself. It's a traditional L-shaped, what you would expect of a classic lobster boat like this. This flag pole removes, so if that's hindering your access at the dock, you can take that out. That's ventilation down below, and let's go forward and point everything out. So we've got an opening gate just here and a shower that pulls out from here. Power and battery charger is behind there, but in here, this is a good place for putting shoes probably. So it's actually really deep. It goes in quite a way. And then underneath these seats is quite impressive amount of storage underneath this one, and this one, and they all hinge up, and you've got quite a decent amount of storage, pretty easy to get to. So that's pretty good. I'm going to sit down and give you some perspective. You can, with the help of some throw cushions, and you can actually even extend this seat if you wish. The factory can pretty much do anything you want, but this is a nice place to be out of the wind. This is a wonderful place to be underway. At that 6 to 7 knot speed, the noise levels are really, really low, so it's great for conversation. So you can be at the helm and you could talk to someone out here, not a problem. The higher speeds, the engine noises are going to overtake you a little bit. And then for lunch, sitting here, this table will go up and down. It will also drop all the way down to this level. So I assume there's a cushion, or there's an optional cushion to go over that if you want to turn it into a day bed. And I would consider, being Australia, putting some sort of additional extra extendable bimini out here. Would probably benefit some of you. But if you don't want that and you just want to retain the current looks, this solid roof finishes right here. And this is the cover, this zipper. So can you see that, Shane? This is the cover that would protect this whole cockpit area. So that's why I was saying I wouldn't stress so much about this timber that wraps around here, which is all quite good looking, because that's all going to be covered. And it's just the one simple cover that you need to put on. You probably don't even need to pull the seat cushions off either, so that's not an issue. Now, there's options to play with this space just here. Currently, it's essentially a serving, a little workspace, and we've got a deep storage area in here. That's good for bags and also mesh covers up the front. Sliding doors, 2 doors just here, meeting in the middle. And they will also do an open plan style if you wish, and they will even extend this roof just here. So there is even another version where this roof can extend all the way out the back. You can see the detailing up here. That looks nice, makes it look like timber. It's actually fiberglass. We've got the downlights. We've got the speakers just here. And then we step in. I'm going to go under the floors a little bit later, so just keep watching because we will check out the engine as well. Come on inside. It's just quite pleasant. The timber, all the timber work, all the joins are quite professionally done. It's got a nice feel about it. There's lots of rounded edges, so it's going to be quite a safe boat to work your way around, but it's also not so huge that you're looking for things to grab onto. You're always in a part of the boat where you've got something to hold on to. So let's just focus on the port side. Come in here and we'll have a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers, all about yay size, so that's considerable. And then we've got this decent storage area in here, so just have a look at that. That's going to actually hold quite a few things, pots and pans if you need. We've got the sink, sorry, that's my coffee cup, hot and cold water just there. And you could do a movable cooker on this one, but there are options for stoves as well. You can see we've got our 240 gensets are options, and then we've got some seating just here. One thing that I think the local dealers are going to do, a footrest would be handy. Not the end of the world, it's just one addition for future. But I did notice in here, the storage is huge. So you think that goes in there, it actually goes all the way aft. So it follows the contours of the hull, and same thing on the other side. So it's deceptive about the amount of storage that actually is in this boat. So let's have a look at the helm. You can see over at all times, the boat's kind of quite predictable and traditional as you would expect, but we've got our flat screen Raymarine, it's a multifunctional, and then we've got some analogs on either side, water, fuel, holding tank, and then we've got power for the board just there, spotlight, trim tabs just there. This is the engine digital diagnostics for the Yanmar. That's the start stop. That's the USB. These are the bow and stern thrusters. You operate the wipers individually, horn, and then you can probably bridge the batteries there as well. We've got an autopilot just down here. I do see some value in having that. This is the throttle. That's quite comfortable and within easy reach when you're at a seated position. Battery switches just here. Hydraulic steering, no movable wheel. It's quite a big wheel, easy to operate. You do have a decent amount of space just here to move around. So if you're a bigger person, it's fine. My eye line at 5'7" is straight through the window here. So taller people are still going to have some good views. Although if you're much, much taller, you're then going to have to think about sitting as opposed to standing all the time for your visibility. Raymarine VHF just here. This one gives you access into the wiring loom. Same again behind my legs. And then over here is the actual 12 and 240 panel just there. So you've got access to all your different switches closed behind that little door there. And a decent sized fridge with an ice tray just here and a workspace above, more charging, light switches and down lights all around. So pretty neat. Ventilation on this very hot day is really good. We've got air sucking its way down here and being pulled in from both of these windows as well. So even though it is quite a stinker today, it's not bad. Engine access below my feet, which we're going to have a look at in a second, but you come down into the accommodation. Once again, roof providing some good insulation, two pretty decent stairs, and then just come and soak all this in. Come and check out this bed. It's just quite a lovely space. Lots of rounded edges on the timber, so you're never going to bang yourself. A lot of these production boats that you see from Europe, they're going to have much more harder edges, whereas this is much more hand finished. I can tell by shipwrights who finished all this off, and you've got lots of curves everywhere. It's going to make life a little bit more comfortable for you if you're spending long periods. Got some reading lights. We've got leather wrapped around. We've got some cross-flow ventilation and the fans. This is the overhead hatch. Look how they finished it off with the timber just here. That's all really nice stuff. They just have much more access to craftsmen, I guess, in Turkey, because it seems so many boats are coming out of that region. Anyway, underneath the bed here, we've got access to the bow thruster battery, but there's quite a lot of storage as well. So let's just have a look. Get down there and have a quick look. Look at all that. So for bags and luggage, that's the bow thruster battery. That floor lifts up to give you access into the bow thruster itself. And then you've got some piping from the head as well. I won't finish that in a second. Let's just have a look here. We've actually got two drawers, 1, 2. So for a night or two, for two people, that's fine. Proper hanging locker in here. So we've got the safety gear in there at the moment, but that's pretty decent. Obviously, you'd be putting the safety gear underneath the seats out the back and using this for all your clothing. And this is quite deep here, and they've put a fiddle in here, so you can store some items. They're not going to get in the way of this area here. I could even envisage that as an area to put some laptops on charge, because we've got a 240 plug just there. And these ledges are reasonably deep too, so that's not bad. The head is quite a surprise. This is a proper shower area. I see this. I probably want one of those little hooks, because I possibly would use this as a proper shower area. Whoops. Because of the amount of space that we have. And then just look at the workbench underneath. Once again, it's surprising how much space you actually have on this one, guys. And even behind the bench here, you've got all of that space for your toiletries bags. I note that the mirror has got this little on-off light here. That's cool. And I'll just show you the head. Just give me the camera there. That's the electric head with holding tank. So we've got 600 litres of fuel, we've got 200 of water, and we've got 100 on the holding tank. So let's lift up this carpet and show you in the engine bay. Okay. So this is the engine installation, guys. We've got the Yanmar 340 straight shaft. They will pretty much do whatever you want. So this is the beauty of having such a great manufacturing base. They can do twins, and they can do different motors, and I believe even different drive systems. But this is what we have on this boat. We've got the holding tanks, 2 holding tanks forward, so you see the black ones, and then after those you see 2 white tanks. They are the fuel tanks, so 300 on either side. And then what we might actually do, we'll make our way aft. So Shane, just watch your step. We have this other opening hatch here. You have to remove the table and just put it across to one side to get access to it. But just look at the amount of space we have available to us. So I might actually grab the camera and bring you guys with me and just show you what's going on. So look at all that space. So that's the diesel tank on starboard. You can see the fuel filter there. You can see the exhaust going out to the back of the boat. Diesel tank on port. Raw water pickup just there, and look at all that space going forward, and available space to get access to the motor and all around the motor. So that's cool. And then you can see just here, you can see that hose connecting the water tanks, but we have the same thing for the diesel as well, so we can equalize those. You've got a sight gauge just there for the water, and a sight gauge just there for the diesel. And if you wanted to mount a genset, you have heaps of space. So you clearly do it where I'm standing, but this looks like house supply for the batteries. We obviously got the steering. You can see through to the stern thruster, and then we've got crank as well. But that's just an impressive amount of space available to us for all sorts of optionality. You've got these ledges down the side here and here. You've got all this space here. Seems logical to me. If you're going to put a Jenny, I'd do it here. And then if you're going to do AC, probably underneath that bed forward, makes a lot of sense. Run the power forward and have the AC unit there venting into the cabin and up here, if that's important to you as well. So that's the boat, guys. The Barbaros 33 Lobster. She goes down to 30, up to 43. Real neat, really cool, traditional, classic boat. Practical for some or many of you. And what I was saying about impractical for others, a shaft drive, it's going to have a wider turning circle. It's also going to have prop warp when you pull it into or put it into reverse gear. So getting used to operating a shaft drive boat is going to be a little bit different than an outboard powered boat, if that's what you're coming from. So if you want to find out about that, we have just demoed that in the next video. If you're just interested in how she performs and the speeds she does, go ahead and watch it. I'll pop that up on the screen right now. She's comfortable, she's predictable, she's dry, and she's conservative. This isn't going to be an expensive boat to operate. I certainly think it's a boat that one person can manage by themselves with ease. And entertaining a couple of families, you and a few mates, you and your partner, and overnighting with one other, you absolutely can do that as well. This is cool. I'm keen to see what else we see coming out of Turkey, guys, because neat, quality, well priced. Go and have a look at the next video.